When the giant Black Panther looks at the broken crystal, a strange sense of confusion and unease begins to grow deep within his eyes. He slowly steps closer to the crystal, but the more he tries to understand it, the deeper and darker the mystery becomes. Suddenly, the entire environment falls into silence, as if even time itself has paused to witness this moment. Then, a deep and echoing, mysterious voice emerges from the darkness, carrying a truth powerful enough to change everything. Thousands of years ago, there existed a civilization that was not only powerful, but filled with knowledge and hidden secrets. They were not ordinary beings. Their eyes held power, their existence carried energy, and they could control nature itself. But this story begins even before that, at a time when the universe itself came into existence. With the Big Bang, countless mysteries were born, and the story of this vast universe had finally begun. Around 4.5 billion years ago, a planet was formed, filled only with fire, lava, and destruction, with no signs of life. But slowly, over time, that planet began to change, as if it was preparing itself to give birth to life.
Around 2.5 billion years ago, oxygen began to form, and with it, the very first breath of life echoed across the world. Deep within the oceans, tiny life forms began to emerge, slowly filling the planet with the presence of living energy. As time passed, plants and forests began to grow, and for the first time, the world experienced the beauty of life. But alongside this growth, dark creatures were also born, bringing with them terrifying and unknown powers. This was the moment when an invisible war between light and darkness had already begun. Around 350 million years ago, life stepped onto land, marking the beginning of a completely new era. With time, mammals evolved rapidly, and their growing power made the world even more dangerous and mysterious. Slowly, different kingdoms began to rise, each known for its strength and control over its own territory. But among all of them, one empire stood above the rest, the most powerful of all, known as Eldrath. This civilization was so advanced that its true power was beyond the understanding of any living being. Now those same ruins stand before the giant Black Panther, as if they are trying to tell a forgotten story from the past. Every broken stone and every crack holds the memory of a time that was once filled with greatness and power. This was the place where the rulers once sat, controlling the fate of the entire empire. The ruler of the sky was a massive eagle whose vision could see everything across the endless horizon. And the ruler of the land was a powerful gorilla whose strength protected the entire empire from any threat. As long as these two rulers stood together, the empire remained unstoppable, and no force in the world could challenge it. Their unity was their greatest strength, making the civilization unbreakable and far superior to every other kingdom. But one day, something happened that shattered this balance and changed everything forever. Suddenly, dark clouds covered the sky, and a terrifying silence spread across the entire world. An unknown force had entered this world, and with it, the beginning of destruction had already begun. This dark force slowly began weakening the very foundation of the empire, spreading fear across every corner. Soon, war broke out everywhere, and the brilliance of this great civilization began to fade away. Battles erupted both in the sky and on land, and the world was filled with nothing but chaos and destruction. This was the moment when the end of this great empire was no longer far away. The most powerful empire of its time was slowly turning into ruins before everyone's eyes.
In the end, everything was lost, and only silence and broken remains were left behind. Today, those same ruins whisper an incomplete story, one that no one has fully understood. But the biggest question still remains unanswered. Who was truly behind this destruction? Perhaps the answer lies hidden within that broken crystal, waiting to be discovered. And from here begins the most dangerous and mysterious chapter of this story, one that could change everything forever.